So the Pixel 4a is here to an extent. And there's like a lot of videos popping up on YouTube showing off the phone, showing off its capabilities. August 20th. That's the release date. All right, peace. All right, a kid. All right, so let's talk about the Pixel 4a. There's a lot that's going through my head, and was just really thinking about a lot of things, and kind of trying to understand where people are coming from with it, because there's like right now there's like a ton of reviews going on. Obviously, Team Pixel members had gotten the phone already because they've gotten some time to play around with it. Now they can release out their videos and really talk about it. And that's exactly what they're doing. So let's talk from a consumer standpoint and not go all into the nitty-gritty text, specifications and stuff, because there's a lot of videos that's discussing that. But let me just really jump right into it, right? So the Pixel 4a, the successor to the Pixel 3a, and that's really all what it is. It's strange, but I'm watching other people's videos and I'm listening to what they have to say, and the wishful things that they would have wanted in the phone itself, and already getting into the whole comparison thing, and it was just like, it's just mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling to the extent because the Pixel 4a is not meant to be a flagship. So a lot of those reviewers that are like wishing that it had a lot of the things that the Pixel 4 had, sure, I would say, yeah, let's bring all that stuff into it so we can have a $600 or $700 phone. Like, come on, let's get realistic. The whole point of the Pixel A series is to bring the Pixel to a specific price range to be affordable for most consumers out there who don't go and opt for flagships. That's the main point of the A series by Pixel, is to bring a Pixel device into the hands of consumers who don't opt for flagship phones such as this. That would be like an $800 to $1,000. Now, one thing I am entirely glad to see is that several people that have the phone and that are already throwing out their review videos has stated that the Pixel 4a maintains the same feel that the Pixel 3a did last year, being that it doesn't feel as a mid-ranger. It doesn't feel like it's super budget. They went on to praise the Snapdragon 730G and all that it can handle and all that it can do, along with the 3140 milliamp hour battery. So you're gonna get decent battery times, which is actually really good. It has the Pixel imprint, so biometric fingerprint sensor. It still maintains the headphone jack. So one of the things that a lot of the reviewers are talking about is that the sound quality has gotten a lot better. So that's actually pretty good that they're still focusing on some of the things that people would say is minute. They are still focusing on that. So while people will complain and say that too much hasn't changed from the 3A to the 4A, in fact, they have made subtle improvements. And while you may not think that is important, it does in a way, because again, user experience with the software and how the software performs. The audio is part of the software because it's regulated by the software. So therefore, making some adjustments and some changes to the sound does in fact produce a better user experience, because people today watch a lot of media from their smartphone. So if you have sound from your smartphone that is crisp, that is clear, that has some nice punchy bass, but is all pretty much well balanced, your experience watching a video or listening to music is going to be great when you're immersed in it in that moment. So good on Google for doing that. So let's talk about the Pixel 4a cameras, because this is one of the ones that some reviews are saying is a bit of a hit or miss. One of the things that I'm noticing that they seem to look at it as a caveat is the fact that it's using the same camera sensor that the Pixel 3a is using. Now, I thought they would have been using the same camera sensor that the Pixel 4 was using, but I was wrong on that. So they're using the same one. However, making their comparisons and talking about, how well the AI corrects a lot of the issues. So some of the demos that I've seen people use is the night sight on the Pixel 4a, and when in night sight mode, before they capture the photo, the viewfinder shows this very noisy, grainy look, which, you know, to me, shows you the power of the AI software that is used to correct photos when taken from the Pixel, because it takes all that the camera sensor is seeing, and it corrects it piece by piece and puts it all back together to present that photo in a much more better processed image. And you got to really give it up to Google for that. I mean, that's the point of Pixels. That's why it's called Pixel. It's really focused on photo taking. Did we get a beef up to the video? No, we didn't. It's still going to take videos the same way. So if you guys were hoping that these videos are going to be like absolutely comparable to the iPhone, you may feel a little bit let down. But let me just say this, that the video quality may not be as what the iPhones do. But again, I tell people, it's not like you're shooting from a potato and a thin layer of like wax or something, you know? The video quality still is good enough to vlog. Of course, you'll probably need like an attachable external microphone to get better audio quality, but the video quality is still good enough, in my opinion, for vlogging. So no harm, no foul there. But the fact is that I would say this to a lot of people out there: if they had gone with a newer camera sensor, the pricing would not be $349, because that's where I think this is really at with this phone. The $349 price tag, right? You get a Snapdragon 730, you get a 5.8-inch display, you get a 3140 mAh battery. Come on, $349. If you put newer stuff in there, you're looking at a price tag of maybe $399. They would do. It'd be no justification for them to really slash it down. That goes into the next thing I want to talk about, is the pricing, the $349 pricing, right? So we pretty much heard that this was going to be the norms for it. $349 was going to be it, and we finally got it confirmed. You know, we got a release date, August 20th, 2020. So 2 days after my birthday. That's sweet. You can pre-order right now on Amazon. Amazon's taking pre-orders for them, so that's if you really want to get one. But let's focus the $349 price tag, because initially, you know, they looked like that they were going to market this thing for $399, which, you know, there were other devices in that price range, and then therefore, you know, it would have made for, you know, an interesting battle. However, you know, one and some would speculate that the $349 price tag is because of the delay. Google's like, this is slash $50 off, and so it'll make it $50 cheaper than our competitors. Okay, that's great, and you know what? Good on Google for the apology. Really appreciate it. But when people start talking about they should have added this new thing into it or that new thing into it, they should have put motion sense into it, they should have done a 90 hertz refresh rate into it, then it's like it would be hard for them to slash it down to $349 using those components, because again, they could make this price slash $349 because of the components inside the phone. People kind of like overlook that. It's like, what is in the phone? You know, because any business person is not going to take high-end parts and piece it all together into a solid product and then sell it for like way less than what their actual low-end cap should be. Because again, they're out to make money, and while people will be like, but they have billions of dollars, but it doesn't matter. Anyone that's in business is not going to take a cut just because they're already wealthy, all right? Otherwise, Walmart would give everything away for free. Target would give everything away for free because they're wealthy. The owners are wealthy, and watch. You guys get my point. So let's just be happy in the fact and rejoice in the fact that it's a $349 price tag, and I'm cool with it for what I'm going to get out of it. I mean, base starting point 128 gigabytes, right? Which people are like, well, you know, the Pixel 4 started at 64 gigs. Well, Google tends to have this weird quirkiness that it gives something to the Pixel A series that it doesn't give to the Pixel 4. The Pixel 4 started at a 64 gig base. The Pixel 4a starts at a 128 gig base. That's what we get this year. Last year, the Pixel 3 had the ability to have 2 SIMs, but it didn't have DSDS, which the Pixel 3a had DSDS. Now, DSDS is dual SIM, dual standby, which means that both SIMs would run at the same time. On the Pixel 3, you had to choose one to work with, and then you had to switch if you wanted to switch to the other SIM cards, whether it was the eSIM or the physical SIM, you had to switch. You could not have both running at the same time. You could not choose calls from one SIM and messages from one SIM or both SIMs and then data from the other SIM. You couldn't do that. You could do that with the Pixel 3a. So that is brought in, again with the Pixel 4 and the Pixel 4a with the Pixel 4a starting at a 128 gig option, where the Pixel 4 started at a 64 gig option. So again, something that entices the Pixel 4a to basically kind of be over its big brother, the Pixel 4. Now let's talk about the Pixel 4a's display. And some people have found this to be disappointing, but they're not talking about the resolutions of the display. They're not talking about the fact that it has lesser bezels, which is what people wanted, because they adopted the hole punch for the selfie cam on the device. What people are upset about is that the Pixel 4a does not have a 90 Hz refresh or a 120 Hz refresh. They are like, wow, the Pixel 4 has it. The Pixel 4 has a 90 Hz refresh. And I think this is where Google is really trying to balance, right? So if you opt for a Pixel 4a, the starting base storage is 128 gigabytes, right? Which the Pixel 4 does not have. It starts off at 64 gigabytes, and then you spend an extra $100 to get that 128. So it makes the Pixel 4a enticing in storage, right? But to not take away from the Pixel 4, its big brother and the flagship of Google until the Pixel 5 comes out, they did not bring a higher refresh rate for the Pixel 4a. That is left to the Pixel 4. And while the Pixel 4 does it pretty good because it only utilizes 90 Hz refresh when it needs to, if it does not need to, it will scale to 600, 600 Hz refresh. Lost my train of thought there for a second. But yeah, the 60 Hz refresh rate for when it doesn't need the 90. I totally understand. And again, when people complain about that and they're like, well, but this mid-ranger has 90 Hz refresh and yada yada yada, I get it. There's never going to be a perfect phone for anybody out there, so people can always look at the Pixel 4a and find all the flaws in it and be pessimistic about it. And then there are those that look at the Pixel 4a and be optimistic about it and say, okay, for $349, this is what I'm getting. And the main points of the Pixel, which I'll get to here in a little bit, I get those for $349. We'll look at it in a more optimistic way. Look, we can go on this carousel round and round and round about all the good things about the Pixel 4a and all the bad things about the Pixel 4a, but let's just celebrate the fact that, one, the phone is here. The phone will be available on August 20th. If you want one, you can buy one. If you can never, really spend a lot of money on any of the higher flagship Pixel devices, you can get the Pixel 4a, which will be the more modern mid-range device out there at a $349 price tag, and be able to experience what other Pixel users are experiencing, whether they have a flagship version of the Pixel or if they're using a mid-ranger like the Pixel 3a or Pixel 4a. And that's the thing that I love about it, is that it goes back to that core point. Your experience is not going to be drastically different between them. If you strip away all the bells and whistles and just run it down to stock Android, it is going to be the same experience whether you paid $1,000 for it or if you paid $350 for it. It's going to be the same, and that's what I really appreciate from the A series from Pixel, is that they leave that. They don't want you to feel that you've opted for less. Even though you did, they don't want you to feel like that every day you pick up your phone and you walk out the door. They don't want you to feel that you opted for less. So you really feel like that you got a value in it, like it was a good deal, a bargain, because you're going to get the same experience as any other Pixel user has, regardless if they spend $1,000 or less. You're going to get that same experience with the core of Android, okay? And really, Pixels in general, so we can wish for a lot of things for them. We can wish for this feature, this build quality, that build quality, but the main point, the main core point of Pixel, the main selling point of it is its AI, its software. Google is a software company, we know this. Google started the Pixel superfans because they want to basically get hardware down. They want to be able to understand what consumers really want out of a Pixel device. And so they're going to group a bunch of consumers and have these sit-in meetings when they email them, like, on this day at this time we're having a meeting, please join us. And you get to sit there with the Pixel development team and talk to them about certain things that you may be concerned about the current phone that you have. and give some insight to help them. Because Google's got software on lock. Software is not a problem for them. They don't need a kumbaya group to talk about software, but they need one for hardware, and that's fine. But the main core of Pixels is the software, is their dedication and push to AI and using AI within their Pixel devices to help bring a much more enriched, better experience. That is the whole point. That is the main point. That's why you buy a Pixel. You buy a Pixel for that. Okay? You don't buy a Pixel solely for the camera. You buy it for the software experience and for the artificial intelligence that they bring to the table. That's what is going to have the Pixel beat out the OnePlus Nord or the iPhone SE 2020. It's not going to be about build quality. It's not going to be about the camera sensors solely. It's not going to be about the display. It's not going to be about the processing chip. It's not going to be about the battery size or any of that stuff. What makes the Pixel 4a contend against the OnePlus Nord, against the iPhone SE 2020 is the software. That's what I'm going to say right now, and that's going to leave it at that. It's the software. And I'm telling you right now, I'm so happy that Google is maintaining that same feel, because I don't have to hold the phone in hand to say that. I have listened to several key people who are already giving their in-depth thoughts about the Pixel 4a as of today. And the one thing that I'm hearing them all say is that while using the phone, the experience doesn't feel like that it's a mid-ranger. It doesn't feel weaker than the Pixel 4. It doesn't feel different. The only way you're going to notice a difference between the 4a and the Pixel 4 is that you unlock your Pixel 4a with a biometric reader, which is fingerprint. You unlock it with biometric face unlock on the Pixel 4. Okay? The build quality, you'll notice a difference. The size, you'll notice the difference. The battery life, you'll notice a difference. But when it comes to the user experience, using the actual software, you will not feel a difference. And that's exactly the same way I felt with the Pixel 3a and the Pixel 3. I didn't see a marginal difference when using it, even though it didn't have the same processor. Just like the Pixel 4a has a Snapdragon 730, the Pixel 4 has a Snapdragon 855, I believe. So, and that all boils down to software optimization. So I leave it at that right now, guys. This is my video take for the Pixel 4a, what I think about it, and just, I'm definitely going for it. Later on, towards the end of this month, I may have it, or in the beginning of next month. But once I get it, I am going to give it my full attention to bring you guys. And I'm definitely going to be watching to see what people talk about it, because whatever they miss or whatever they fail to focus on, I will fill that gap and talk about it in my video. So thanks again for just checking out what I think about the Pixel 4a now that it has been announced. And also, real quick, people are like, we only got one. More than likely, the 5G will come with the 5. And so that will be that one more thing that, Google, the Made by Google event will probably do. Who knows? There's still a lot of questions. There's still a lot of things left in the dark. Thank you, Google, for keeping us, the suspense alive with us. Because everyone's just like, where's the other one? And, so we'll see. We'll see what happens in the future. We'll be watching closely, Google. And thanks for checking out this video. If you guys enjoyed it, smash that like button. If you guys subscribe, thanks for doing that. Hit the bell icon to be notified for future release videos. And you guys enjoy the rest of your day. And as always, aloha.